Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Scientific Minds Unite. I'm sitting out here at Allen J. Prep, looking up, seeing how beautiful of a day it is. It's about 65 degrees, it's sunny, so there is blue sky. That makes me think about weather. And so on this special edition of Scientific Minds Unite, we are going to have a conversation with a meteorologist, and we are going to have Miss Kate Gardner with us today. If you will, take a look at her bio and some clips of her career as not only a meteorologist, but also as an actress. About this video, I am shooting this opener actually after we had our conversation, and there is some issues with the video later on. You can probably still hear our conversation, but the video kind of goes out. But I want you to please watch all the way through, because there is not only information about weather, but also she gives you some good life lessons and about not only about taking care of yourself, but also on leadership. So if you will, take a look.
So the kids sent great questions. So the first one they asked me is, how do you study a hurricane using a plane? And that's an excellent question. What happens with that is it's pretty complex, but it's, so I say NOAA, NOAA, what they use is specialized aircrafts and instruments to fly through a hurricane. It's not for everybody. It's not something a normal plane would want to do, but these are specialized aircrafts. And as they do it, it's really the one way that you can identify where the eye of the storm is. And when you precisely locate that, they call that fixing the eye. So essentially it can track a lot of the coordinates when you use that specialized aircraft. And that's really helpful to study hurricanes. So NOAA is responsible for that. Then my next question, great question, was how do you stay protected when reporting on a storm in person? Typically, as a meteorologist, we stay in the studio, but I have covered hurricanes, and you stay protected by, you're just vigilant. You take a look. If I'm on the coast, you're really out there in it. But, if you know something like heavy wind speeds or heavy water is going to come up, you're going to obviously park in a safe place. You're going to stay in a safe place. If it gets to be too much, you're not going to stay out there. We don't want to risk our lives to get a piece of footage. That's at least my take on it. I don't think it's worth it. You just stay protected by staying vigilant and just by talking to your employer and just going with that. But the main thing is safety when you cover a storm, and you want to stay out there. I mean, you can get great footage of the waves and the winds and all that, but you don't want to get it when stop signs and things like that start blowing around, because that can be dangerous, and that's a liability at that point. The next question I got was, how do I get the information that I report on? And that's an awesome question. You guys always have awesome questions, and this is one of them. So I study many, many different models throughout the day. It's not just one model, and it's not just the National Weather Service. I study a lot of different arenas of weather information, and then what I do is I make columns and I compare numbers. So high temperature, low temperature, rain chance, and temperatures. I can go out 7 days. I, as a meteorologist, won't go out any further than 7 days because I don't think it's accurate. People will call and say, can you give us the weather a month out? I just don't want to do that because it could change, So, weather changes enough in just a single day. So I get the information by just studying a lot of different models. It takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get a forecast made, when you really put the time into it. And the National Weather Service is helpful, but you want to look at a lot of different elements and realms of that, which I do daily. The next question I love, because people do make a joke and they say this is the only job where you can be right 50% of the time and still get paid. But we try to be right a lot more than that. But it says, what if your prediction is wrong? you own it. Truth be told, like, you're going to be wrong sometimes, you know? I mean, even in school, you guys are going to be wrong sometimes, and that's okay. I think we need to normalize that it's okay to not be perfect and you're going to be wrong. Because in this career, let's say, you know, a cold front's moving through, maybe it comes through faster than expected, brings rain faster than expected. So we could easily be wrong. Most of my models update every 6 hours. So I keep a close eye on that. And you know, sometimes the updates are just not what we thought. Like, I've definitely predicted showers before or snow totals before that did not come to fruition. But it's all just the weather pattern out in the atmosphere. So when you're wrong, you just say you're wrong, but Mother Nature just has a funny sense of humor. So there you go. And the next question is, how do I point to the specific spots on a green screen where the weather is? That's an awesome question too, you guys. It's fun. So pretend this wall behind me was the green wall. Okay. So it's a huge green wall. You can't wear green, by the way, because you'll disappear. So like, your teacher would disappear today. And there's a TV monitor here, and there's another TV monitor here, and then there's a camera in front of me. And when I'm looking in the camera, I actually see myself. So I can point at the TV monitor or the other one, and I can see specifically what's behind me based on graphics that they control in this area of the building we call the control room. And so it took a while when I first started doing weather, like 8 years ago, to know specifically where to point. But now it's pretty easy. And when the pandemic goes away, you guys need to come in and you can see for yourself how to point. We'll make sure we do that. Another question I got is, how do I feel about working extra shifts in the building? So I love it. So I think this is a good lesson to take with you even in school, especially because I'm sure you guys are all putting in extra time with school now because there's just so much to get done and it's virtual. For me with extra shifts, it's always a learning opportunity. Now there are shifts I like better than others. Like, I don't love doing the morning shift. I'm not 22 anymore, so I'm tired. So I prefer my 9 to 5, but I do love the evening shift too. When you come in at 2 p.m. and work until midnight. I like that a lot. You get different opportunities on every show. And I think that doing different shifts, you grow. So I think that's good for you guys to remember too. When you have to do the extra work, is it fun? It can be, and you will grow, which is really cool. You learn a lot. And I get to work with different people, which is fun.
So, like, I mean, that's part of leadership there is just growing. I mean, doing different things. That's what our school's all about is growing as a leader. And so doing that kind of thing is important because you grow, you know, as a leader.
It really is. Never, ever be scared. You don't want to get complacent. So you never want to just say, well, I'm doing this. This is all I'm going to do. No. Strive for more, grow. Because the more that you're willing to do, the more impressive you're going to be and the more you're going to stand out. And I think today, especially, it's really good to stand out. So if it puts a smile on your face, like this job every day puts a smile on my face, I love extra shifts. Does math always put a smile on your face? Probably not. But like, if you do it, you can use it later in your career, you know? So that's really cool. Leadership is really important. And you guys have great leaders at your school. So, am I familiar with creating and editing weather graphics? I am. I do it every single day. So we use a system called TrueView Max, and I can build any and every graphic on there. We also have graphic designers here at the station, one specifically named Kenny that I love to work with. And anything I imagine I can do. And yet again, that goes back to leadership. Anything you imagine is possible. So I build graphics for all kinds of weather events: snow, rain, storms, sunny days. I have a golf forecast. I have a running forecast, a tennis forecast, a gardening forecast, a playground forecast. So all these forecasts, because they're fun. And I'll tell you what, for a fun project, if you guys ever think of any graphics that you think would be cool, email them to me. Anything that you think would be neat. But I do work every day at making new graphics. And that's one thing that I try to challenge myself with pretty often. So there's that.
Question for you there. What program do you use to make your graphics?
Well, I make all mine on that TrueView Max system because I'm able to do that. And we have a lot of like elements and icons and text saved in that system. I'm not sure what our graphic designer uses, but he uses something good because they look good. So yeah, that's what he uses. What kind of educational background do you have to be a meteorologist? Well, there's great schools for meteorology. There's NC State, I think UNC Charlotte, and I think UNC Asheville, but NC State's amazing. I would to Penn State. online and got my certification up later. So I went back to school at 28 and got my meteorology certificate. Think about what you want to do, what makes you smile. Let's see, how far? 7 days. I can do 3 days, no issue. Okay. 5 days, I can do it. It's going to change. 7 days, we do it. It's going to change. Van Denton will go 12 days as weather does change. So I'll go out 7 days and Van will go about 12 days if needed. But I think hurricane chasing is really fun to watch. And they know how to do it safely. So there's always training. You know, I think another important part of leadership is when you have these trainers or like a meteorologist, you work hard to learn your craft. You work and you train so that you can do so safely. You don't ever want to just jump into like storm chasing. I don't do it because I've never been trained to do it. But it's something I would love to get into in the future. It'd be a lot of fun. I'd love to chase tornadoes. I think that would be a ball. So as a meteorologist, what's the hardest thing for you to learn and understand when you went to school to become a meteorologist? So jet stream was really hard for me to understand. And also wind patterns were really tough for me to understand. There's a lot of science and math associated with meteorology, and science was actually never my forte. So until I got into meteorology, I really didn't love science. But thankfully, the profession and the schooling made it put. But I would say, yes, there's always going to be an element of something you might not understand. I asked a lot of questions. I had a lot of great help. And there's no shame if you don't understand something and asking for help. All right, let's see. What's the hardest part of my job? I really like to keep people safe. I think that's the main thing in my job. My two favorite things in my job are school talks and obviously predicting the weather and giving the weather. What's the hardest part? I like to keep people safe. I think that's the main thing in my job. A hurricane all day long, I know where that's going, but a tornado just pops up thanks to rotation. And that's scary for me. I don't love that. So that's a really hard part of my job because I want to make sure if it's coming down on your street, that I'm giving you that street level view. And I'm able to tell you to get in your basement. So we like to just do that accurately and quick enough. And we do it every time, but it's just, it's hard because, you know, you feel like people's lives are on the line. What question do you guys, that's what I had. That's what I took from this. Do you guys have any other specifics that you'd like to know?
No, I think that is great information that you have given to us. Do you want to give a little bit more about like more or less your acting career? Because we know that that's an important part of your life.
Oh, yeah. So I am an actor, but like I did the show Homeland. I was Claire Danes' stunt double in stand-in for season 1. That was a blast. I've been in a movie Piranha 3D. Don't watch that movie, guys. You're too young for it. But you can watch my scene on IMDb if you want to see that. I have been in a couple ABC Family movies, and I got into acting back in 2009 when I moved to New York City. And I got an agent, and I've been really blessed to get to do a lot of acting work. I just shot the new Halloween, but that won't come out till 2021 now. I played a reporter. I'm sure my lines will likely get cut. That's how it goes, but I know I'll be in it, so that's exciting. All I've ever wanted to do is be in a Halloween movie, so I was really excited. And then I just auditioned for another film last night. So I do auditions pretty often, and you just cross your fingers. Here's what I will tell you about acting, though. The most commonly used word in that field is no. You will hear no all the time when you audition. And it's not because you're not good enough, and you should never base your self-worth, and I'm telling y'all this in your classrooms too, from hearing the word no or that you didn't do good enough. Because in all truthfulness, there's so many people that are going to want to do what you do. Like in my acting experience, maybe I didn't get the part because of a look or the way that I said a line or something. It's never anything to do with how I am as a person. And I think that I get rejected maybe 75% of the time. And then, you know, that other percentage of the time you get the part, and it's lovely. There's very few actors that make it really big, but I would love to be in a Hallmark movie. That's my goal. And, you know, but I just think it's a good learning experience too, to apply to school. Like, your self-worth is never determined on the word no. Anytime you hear the word no, you should keep hustling and you should keep trying and working hard if you're loving it and having fun. And so I do love my acting career. That is actually my first love, and then weather's my second. But, you know, and that's just honest. So it's really fun to get to audition. Now we're doing, like, I can't go to my agent's office because of COVID. And typically he would do all the auditions there and tape it and everything. But now we're having to do them at home. So luckily I've got people that will come read lines with me and help me shoot it. But it's certainly been a different world in the audition process. And I can't say I'm loving it, but it's interesting. It keeps you on your toes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I saw that picture last night. You posted of you with your mask on, talking, doing
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, acting is, like I said, it's amazing and it's fun, and you're always growing from that. And there's always an opportunity, which I love, you know, so that has been my first love. I hope I get that part, you know, I really hope I get that part, but we'll see. We'll see. That'd be great. Oh, say that one more time.
Can you tell us what that kind of role you are for?
I cannot, but if I get it, I can. But legally I can't yet. But I hate that. I wish I could.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, and thank you for answering those questions for my students. We are not all the way through learning about weather, but we are going to continue to do so. And we have a student here, actually, Brian Slocum's son is a student here in 5th grade, so we will actually probably talk to him at some point as well. So we
good
time. So
of course, anytime you guys need anything, just reach out.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time today, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay. Thanks. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
So this has been another episode of Scientific Minds Unite. We appreciate Ms. Kate Gardner for taking time out to talk to us today in our special episode of A Conversation with a Meteorologist. Please tune in next week for something new and exciting in the world of science. Have a good week. Thank you.